On behalf of the Michigan State Police Lakeview Post troopers and detectives, our hearts are broken on the loss of life and injuries that occurred on Tuesday night. We advocate for the families involved as well as members of the community and recognize that while our hearts are broken, we still have a job to do and a responsibility to make sure that every piece of evidence and every fact is brought to light. Yesterday afternoon, investigators secured a vehicle of interest from a residence in Montcalm County, which resulted in an arrest of the alleged driver involved in this tragic incident. This morning, 40-year-old Brandy Sue Jones from Belding was charged and is currently being arraigned in the Montcalm County 64B District Court on the following charges. 1 count of failure to stop at a crash causing death. 2 counts, failure to stop at a crash causing serious impairment. We know from experience that the judicial process will take time. The Michigan State Police will continue to work tirelessly to process evidence and deliver the justice these families deserve. Right now, we ask the community to continue to support these families as they focus on their loss, grieving process, and the additional victims' long road to recovery. We continue to encourage anyone that has information to reach out to the Lakeview Post. If you are struggling with this tragedy and need assistance, you can reach out to Montcalm Care Network at 989-831-7520. Thank you.
Has she admitted to being behind the wheel?
She has been interviewed. That is still part of the investigative process, and that will be through the judicial process.
Can you say what led to her arrest?
Through the investigative process that the detectives were working on, that was in the tips and the leads that they were following that led them to the location of the vehicle and the person of interest that has been charged.
So we understand that Brandy had a boyfriend as well. Is he considered a person of interest at this time as well?
Right now, the only individual that is being charged is Ms. Jones.
Was she the only one in the car that night?
I don't have that information.
The vehicle that she was driving, was that licensed to her, registered to her, or and maybe was connected to a family member?
That information I don't have either.
Was the vehicle hidden?
I'm sorry?
Was the vehicle hidden?
I don't have that information as far as the exact location of where or how that vehicle was found. That, once again, is still part of the investigative process.
Is there any information regarding if she would have been impaired either with drugs or drinking during that time?
That would all depend on what her testimony would be. And of course, we have the judicial process that we need to abide by. And every person is considered innocent until proven guilty. So whatever statements that she may make would come out in the court.
Can you talk about the volume of tips you received?
I don't have an exact number of tips. I do know that from the incident, the time of the incident, that calls have been coming into the post and troopers have been following up on every one of these tips. They've been working around the clock diligently to come to a resolution, and with it being 3 days from the time of incident, the detectives I know have worked very, very hard on this case so that we can bring justice to the families.
Was there one specific tip you received, or was it a series of them?
It was a culmination throughout the investigative process between the tips that were received and the investigative leads that the detectives have developed.
Did some of these tips include any surveillance footage from Ring doorbell cameras or home surveillance on that street the crash occurred?
Exactly what evidence was obtained, I can't comment on, but anytime that we do have any kind of incident that has occurred that is part of an investigative process is to see if there are any surveillance cameras that are in that area.
In addition to other evidence, I know in the court today that they had mentioned that there were pieces of the car. Did that help in the investigation as well in determining what vehicle was driven during that time?
That was part of the investigative process as far as gathering that evidence to make a determination as far as exactly what vehicle they were looking for. But that still has yet to be determined with 100% certainty until the forensic analysis can be completed.
So, you talk about the tips that came in and community help. For you guys with the state police, what does it mean to get that help from the community in, coming to some sort of resolution?
The Greenville community has been amazing as far as their connection to each other and supporting one another, and it's something that you don't see every day. And so I do want to thank the community for being so vigilant in providing that information to us so that we can follow up on it. They're a great support system right now for one another. The school system is bonding together to help support these families, and we just encourage them to continue that, get the support that they need during this difficult time.
Is there information you can provide on if the suspect turned herself in or if she was arrested by Michigan State Police?
It was through the investigation in which they discovered the alleged driver. And once again, even though this person was arraigned today, once again, there is a judicial process that we have to abide by. So that's still part of the investigative process.
What was the damage on the vehicle? Do you know?
I can't get into any of the details as far as any of the evidence at this point. Thank you very much for coming out, and once again, our thoughts to the families and the communities involved.